As you should know by now, RPE stands for Rating of Perceived Exertion, initially built upon the Borg scale, which was used to measure cardiovascular output and effort as it related to heart rate for cardiovascular exercises.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not gonna do that to you. We already did once. What we're gonna do today instead is give you the quick and dirty of how to use RPE without the history lesson. In simplest terms, RPE is a tool for rating training intensity. Generally, it's a scale between 1 to 10, but we're not gonna worry about anything below a 6 because why worry about that? What we're getting at is how hard is it on a scale of 6 to 10, and the simplest way to get your number is to just ask yourself, how many more reps could I have done? Well, actually, if the only thing you're using to rate your RPE is how many reps left in the tank, you're using RIR, or reps in reserve. My hot take here is that for 99.9999999% of people, it doesn't fucking matter. They are similar enough that for all of our intents and purposes, reps left in the tank, RPE, it's all the same. The formula is 10 minus how many reps more you could have done. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through an example. If you do a set and you could have done 2 more reps, that's an RPE 8. If you do a set and you could have done 1 more rep, that's a 9. Now this working definition should carry you through pretty much any strength training that you're doing and also help to give you a base understanding of what RPE is. However, RPE is also a skill. And as such, you can be bad at it, and you probably are if you've never used it before. So, how do we level it up? Let's talk real quick about developing that skill.
You can't hide from me. No sign of him.
First, the most obvious and surefire way to get good at using RPE is just simply to do it. And what I mean by that is just practice it, right? It's a skill, it's gonna get better when you use it. It's gonna get better the more often you use it. Whether you use it to rate your bicep curls or your ab work or anything inconsequential, if you're worried about trying to use that to guide your squat progress, I get it. But just get started practicing it and doing it, and you will acquire the skill from doing it, like Skyrim.
Nothing is impossible!
Another very clean way of getting some practice with RPE is to use some AMRAPs. If you think that set of 5 that you just did was an RPE 8, prove it. Do 2 more. By utilizing AMRAPs, you can find out what it feels like to go all the way to a 10 or fail a rep. And that way, you'll calibrate yourself. Another important component of getting good with RPE is to track your shit. Not like that. But use a logbook or something like that to keep track of your RPEs. You know what? You could write it down in whatever you're using to track your program, or maybe even in an app of some sort. You can zoom really hard in on the eyebrows there. What kind of app, you might ask? Well, maybe something like the Calgary Barbell training app. Not only will you get access to our growing library of 50+ programs, but also, if you're struggling to rate RPEs, well, hell, we got weekly check-ins in our Discord. It's for app users only, and we will go in there and answer all your questions, help you modify your programs, and help you stay correct and come correct when it comes to your RPE ratings to make sure that you are evolving as a lifter and offer you actual coaching within the app. It's a pretty fantastic product. We back it hard. It's a great way to support us and support the channel, and you can check it out in the link in the description box below.
Stay correct and come correct?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Come correct.
What are you talking? What does that mean?
Come correct. So now, you got some skill with RPE.
Wait a sec, why the hell do I want to use RPE anyway? Sounds like some pencil neck weirdo is trying to quantify my getting jacked, just making me put numbers on everything. That's a bunch of bullshit.
I'm glad you asked, Ed. Let's answer your questions. One of the more valuable things that you can do with RPE, and one of the ways I use it most as a coach, is to use the number of reps and the RPE to calculate what's called an estimated 1 rep max using a calculator. Now that one's probably not gonna be very good, but we're gonna put a link down below for this website. This is RPE Calculator. You can find it at rpecalculator.com. This is gonna help you take, like I said, a number of reps and an RPE, and that's gonna equate it to an estimated 1 rep max. This is a great way to gauge progress. The E1RM goes up, presumably you're stronger. It can be hard to tell sometimes if you hit 3 reps at a 6 at a certain weight and then 3 reps at an 8 with more weight. Does the second set represent a stronger set? I don't know, but if you rate your RPE, you might.
I couldn't see the screen because it's like too bright compared to everything else, but
That's fine. You can just like MS Paint RPE calculator on it. And finally, I want to take a second to debunk some of the myths and objections that people have about using RPE. And to do so, we're going to go back to our good friend Head. Hey, Head, what kinds of interesting and intelligent things have you been commenting in people's YouTube comments lately?
I think RPE is too hard to use and no beginner lifter could possibly figure it out. It's for advanced lifters only.
Well, that's dumb. Lifting is hard. Having a good squat is hard. Using RPE? Sure, can be hard. But should we not bother lifting because it's hard? Should we not just not do things because they're hard? Or should we maybe realize that there's an entry point and room to get better, and that using RPE is a skill like anything else that we should work towards being good at, just like, I don't know, a squat or any lifting? What else you got?
RPE is just there to let coaches be lazy. Write a number in like a man.
This one couldn't be further from the truth. I'd argue that putting a percentage that your lifter has to hit, no matter what, into a spreadsheet is far more lazy. Using RPE well as a coach means that you're taking the time to educate and contextualize the use of RPE with your athlete. You're teaching them what an RPE 8 means to you, what you expect to see when an RPE 8 is written, and then they're having to do the work on their end to put the right weight on the bar and execute to a standard. All of this information is contained within me saying RPE 8 to an athlete, but all the subtext and the context and the nuance and circumstance of that RPE 8 are all things that need to be built up over the course of developing a relationship with the athlete. So RPE is really a linguistic tool. It's a way of quantifying and communicating more effectively with your athlete while teaching them that they have to be more independent and they have to do a better job in order to meet your expectations. Or you could write 200 kilos because you think that's what they have to hit. I'm sure you got one more, Ed, don't you?
RPE lets lifters be lazy. Everybody who uses RPE just wants to go in and get gains from being a big old wussy.
This is another one I imagine coming from a guy who used to bench 405 in college, but then basically quit lifting because his elbow hurt one day. I've not seen this phenomenon of lifters just wanting to be lazy, wanting to call everything an 8 and not ever put any weight on the bar. I think most of the time when people misinterpret RPE, they tend to put too much weight on the bar. If you're gonna go through all the trouble of getting a coach and trying to understand RPE and putting in all this work to be better at training for strength, you're not then gonna go into the gym and think, how do I do less and work less hard? Sure, people underestimate their RPEs, it happens, but I really don't think it's this systemic or integral problem with using RPE that everyone is gonna be a wuss. And now the crux of it all. The entire point of this whole thing. The entire point of RPE, whether you buy in or whether you're sitting there fuming because I said RPE and RIR are close enough to not warrant a discussion, is auto-regulation. The ability to load a little bit more on the bar on the days where you're feeling good, and maybe take a little bit off the bar if you were up all night at a rave, or just stayed up a little too late getting stoned and playing magic cards. I'll respond. I forget what I was gonna do. So whether or not RPE is the way that you choose to auto-regulate your training, the important part is that you build and develop a system to account for the fact that the human body is so goddamn complex, you can't count on your performance being the exact same each and every day. Nailed it.